Up until this point, the top 5 Mega Evolution series has really focused on Pokemon that were considered to be subpar from the rest. Pokemon that generally don't do too well in battle, or Pokemon that people don't really favor. However, that largely changes with the Unova region. When Game Freak gave out Mega Evolutions, they mainly gave it to Pokemon of the first and third generations, and to a good number of Pokemon from the second and fourth generations. But the thing is, they only ever gave one Mega to Pokemon of both the 5th and 6th generations, meaning that, in the character-driven region of Unova, while there may be a ton of Pokemon that have the potential to gain Mega Evolutions, there are a ton of trainers that are waiting to use Mega Evolution with their ace Pokemon. So in today's episode of the top 5 potential Megas, we're going to be going over the top 5 potential Unova Mega Evolutions, which is more than likely going to be the most basic and obvious list of this series, cause we're mainly focusing on ace Pokemon, with the exception of the stars and legendaries. If you haven't seen the last episode of the series, where we cover the top 5 potential Sinnoh Mega Evolutions, then be sure to check that out first. But if you're all caught up, then let's jump right into the top 5 potential Unova Mega Evolutions. Number 5. Zoroark. While N does switch up his party pretty much every time you see him, I think the general consensus is that Zoroark is his ace Pokemon, aside from the legendary dragon of course. Not only is Zoro with them in the opening cinematic of Black and White, but there's also that whole memory link event in Black 2 and White 2 that triggers N's memories by approaching a Zoroark. Even if we were to strip away Zoroark's relationship with N, it's still one of Unova's most popular Pokemon, often being compared to Lucario. So it has a really good resume, ready for a Mega. Only problem is that Zoroark's main gimmick runs in its ability, Illusion, which causes it to look like the Pokemon of the back of its party. If Zoroark Mega Evolves, the illusion is automatically busted, so we're gonna have to work with that somehow, and I think I have just the way. This Mega Zoroark by Eddie W gives the pure Dark-type Mega the simple yet sinister design change that Mega Zoroark needs to fully utilize and mess with people's hearts using the Illusion Break ability. Once Zoroark Mega Evolves and its illusion breaks, the ability Illusion Break will activate and essentially cause a Dark-type U-turn to take place, and it'll swap out. Then, when it enters the field again, it'll come back disguised as another Pokemon. But this time when its illusion breaks through a hit, it'll U-turn out again, and this keeps happening until the opponent is smart enough to predict and beat the always disguised Mega Zoroark. I think this ability will really emphasize what Zoroark is all about, and make Illusion a lot more fun to use. Of course, most of its boosts will be going into its attack stats and speed to take full advantage of Illusion Break and hit as hard as it possibly can, making for it to be a really menacing Mega. Number 4. Hydreigon. Of course, we can't forget about N's adoptive father, Ghetsis, cause he turned out to be the true final boss of Black and White's main story, with his ace Pokemon Hydreigon being a monstrous threat. The fairy typing didn't exist back then, so you had to chip away at its health with an Ice Beam or Dragon Pulse. The reason why I say chip away is cause it's another pseudo legendary Pokemon. And let me tell ya, Hydreigon really has it good. Of course now, if we were to fight Ghetsis again, as long as we have a fairy type move, we should be fine. So, that's exactly why I'm gonna screw up the plan. Mega Hydreigon by Tommy Case lands on the ground with its all new menacing design. We're gonna make sure it keeps its existing Dark and Dragon type, but now that's on the ground, it can't keep Levitate, so why not swap its ground immunity with the fairy type immunity with the ability Sinister Guard, an ability unique to Mega Hydreigon that makes it immune to all fairy type attacks. This will still make it hard for Mega Hydreigon to take care of any fairy type Pokemon, unless it has the move Belch or something, but aside from that, this just makes it so that we're forced to take down Ghetsis Hydreigon in a similar way to what we did in the 5th gen games, and it just makes Hydreigon all the more powerful. Mainly buff of its speed and offensive stats, and this thing is gonna take souls. Number 3. The Elemental Monkeys. Semi-Sage, Semi-Seer, and Semi-Poor. Now, despite what I said in the intro, these guys aren't here because of Crest, Chili, and Silent. They're here because in my personal opinion, if any Pokemon, or if any group of Pokemon from the Unova region needs a Mega the most, it's 100% these 3. After all, Semi-Seer was voted to be the least favorite Pokemon by people in Japan, and Semi-Sage and Semi-Poor, as well as all of their pre-evolutions, weren't too far behind on the list. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the rest of the world would largely agree with our placements. They're even really weak Pokemon, so their Megas would have to make them a lot stronger as well. For our Mega art in this entry, Mega Semi-Sage and Mega Semi-Poor were designed by Zachary Blah, and Mega Semi-Seer was designed by Ghost Troop. No one artist had Megas for all 3 monkeys, so I picked the designs from these 2 artists to give you guys 2 different ideas of what the Mega Monkeys could look like. I'm not going to go into their stats, but I think they should retain their pure types of Grass, Fire, and Water. And I also think that their abilities should take advantage of something else that was introduced in Generation 5. The effects of the Pledge moves. For those of you that don't know, if you use 2 out of the moves Grass, Fire, and Water Pledge, you'll create a unique field effect depending on which moves you used. Water and Grass Pledge create a Swamp-like field effect that quarters the opponent's speed, which can be Mega Semi-Sage's ability. Grass and Fire Pledge creates a Sea of Fire that damages all non-Fire type Pokemon on the opponent's side of the field for 1/8 of their maximum HP, which can be Mega Semi-Seer's ability. And Fire and Water Pledge create a Rainbow Field effect, which doubles the chances of your move's secondary effects occurring, which can be Mega Semi-Poor's ability. This will really make it so that these 3 Megas stand out from every other Mega out there, making them more viable, more popular, and give usage to 3 effects that not many people know of. Number 2. Volcarona. While N and Ghetsis may have been the final trainers from the main story from Black and White, the champion of the region at the time was none other than Alder. And what trainer is more worthy of a Mega than the champion themselves? Alder's ace Pokemon is a Volcarona. Not only that, but his very first partner Pokemon was said to be a Larvesta, Volcarona's pre-evolution. So it definitely would be the one that would most likely get a Mega on his team. But aside from that, Volcarona has a role in Unova lore, as his Pokédex entries state how it would save people from cold winters and darkened atmospheres, causing people to believe that it's the embodiment of the sun. Which means that Mega Volcarona will really have to heat things up. This amazing Mega Volcarona design that was posted by 116626 really shows off Volcarona as more of a divine Pokemon, and it really gives off that Sun God feel. Keeping its Bug and Fire type, I think the most fitting ability for it will be Fiery Surge. I do think that Game Freak will implement more terrains in the future, it's just a matter of when. But instead of giving Volcarona the Drought ability, I think Fiery Surge will make more sense to go along with this lore, especially when it's been stated that a Sea of Fire engulfs the surrounding of their battles, and that's referred to as the Rage of the Sun. Do note that this would be different from the Hold Fire effect created by the Pledge moves. Boost up its defense a bit and give it a major boost to its special and speed stats, and you'll have quite the Sun God on your team. Sorry Solgaleo, but the fans did want a Fire-type Sun God after all. Honorable mentions. Since we mainly covered Ace Pokemon on this list, we missed out on quite a bit of Pokemon, and even some Ace Pokemon, like Colress's Ace, Klinklang. We also had Unpheasant, who was about to be put on this list because it's arguably the weakest regional bird. But it didn't make the list because I consider the elemental monkeys to be weaker and less popular than Unpheasant, so while it was close, the monkeys need a bit more help. And finally, we have Druddigon. For some reason, this dragon gets hated on by a bunch of people. I get that it may not be the most visually appealing Pokemon, but come on, its design isn't that bad. I wanted to give it a Mega because of this hate, and it kinda deserves it for that reason, especially since it's put up with 2 other fantastic dragons in the same region. Only problem is, if I were to give Druddigon a Mega, I'd be giving a Mega to every dragon in Unova, cause to end things off, we have number 1, Haxorus. While it may not be a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, it might actually be more of an important dragon to the Unova region than Hydreigon. The ace Pokemon of Opelucid City's gym leaders, Drayden and Iris, and in Black 2 and White 2, the ace Pokemon of Champion Iris. Its first evolution actually played a very important role in media across the 5th generation of Pokemon, pretty much becoming as important as Pikachu or the Unovan starters. On top of all this, it's just a Pokemon that's loved by many fans. A cool pure dragon type Pokemon that has an axe for a jaw. So how about we make it even cooler with a Mega Evolution? This Mega Haxorus was designed by Echo III and 1/4 of the Rocket Brothers, and the art itself was drawn by Fluffy Chikorita. With this, Mega Haxorus pretty much uses its tail as a weapon, and that thing also turned into an axe itself. It also has a fractal-like color scheme and is wearing armor. Despite that, I don't want to turn it into a steel type, and I still want to keep it as a pure dragon, but I do want to put a good chunk of its stat boost into its defenses to complement its new armor. I also want a good bit into speed, as I think that tail will be moving pretty fast, and whatever is left can be going into its attack. Now, I know with this design, its attack is probably its most emphasized stat, and I'd have to agree. That's why we're going to let stat boost work on everything else, and let its ability Huge Power do wonders with its attack. This way, its stats match everything about its design. It hits like a truck, it's able to take hits well enough, and it can also swing that tail around pretty fast. I don't think this will make Mega Haxorus too busted, and after all, it's a pure Dragon type Pokemon. But I do think it'll make for a really fun Mega, and it would also make for a really tough final battle against Champion Iris. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the 5th episode of the Top 5 Potential Mega Series. Next week, we have the Top 5 Potential Kalos Mega Evolutions, so be sure to stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit a punch the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Let me know how you feel. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions. What did you think of the Megas on this list? And what Unova Megas do you want to see in future generations? Let me know. Share the video around if you want to help us with the channel. And finally, subscribe and hit the little bell icon if you want to stay up to date with all my content. Take care of yourselves, have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video, alright? Later.